Science nerds, choose Essential.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas, turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh, my.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Diamond laid it out. Saunders knocked away, stolen by Caleb Love. On a breakaway, slam it home. Diamond center circle, trying to drive, knocked away by KJ Lewis. And a steal by KJ. 3-on-1, Bradley lays it in.
Draped all over Diamond. KJ Lewis
drives right, stops, elbow to Catchings. Another three is up and good.
What a difference maker. The 12th made three for BYU.
Throw it inside, Vasar, catch, shot up and good.
Nice pass from KJ Lewis. Got stopped on the drive, threw it over the top.
Right corner, Saunders drives the baseline, reverse lay-in, good, and he's fouled. Well, that's how sneaky he can be. He's in that corner. You think maybe he's going for the three. Instead, he drives baseline, lays it in reverse side. 4-point lead with 41.8. Put it in motion. They're going to throw it midcourt over the head of Vasar. Saved by Saunders. There's the horn. It's over, and the Cougars have won it here in Tucson.
It's a bad call. I mean, whatever. What am I going to say?
Exactly. What is Tommy Lloyd going to say? He did have a few things to say. He had some conversations with the conference office about what happened at the end of the game on Saturday night here in Tucson. How those conversations went, we will likely never know. But what we do know, it is basketball night in Arizona. The Wildcats and the Utah Utes tonight at McHale Center. We don't have too many more opportunities to say that. The ladies wrapped up their home schedule last night with a win over Texas Tech, and there are just two more home games remaining for the Arizona men before they head out of town to try and chase their NCAA tournament glory. But first tonight, a Utah Utes team that comes into Tucson reeling, and I mean reeling, as their head coach was fired earlier this week. On Monday, just 2 days ago, Craig Smith shown the door after the Utah Utes lost over the weekend on the road at Central Florida, just 3 games before the end of his fourth season, a fourth season that was going to result in a fourth straight year without an NCAA tournament. That's what happens in today's college basketball. So we'll talk about the Utes and a whole lot more. Let's let you know what we've got for you over the course of the next 3 hours.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll take a look back at the loss on the court to the Brigham Young Cougars. We'll also take a look back at what happened after the game in terms of the Zona Zoo. Your spotlight on a cat brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Ryan Hansen had a chance to catch up with Carter Bryan. DK with TL, sponsored by nobody, but weekly, my questions to the head coach. A little bit different this week as we got Tommy early. Normally it's on Friday, but this week on Tuesday with a road game this coming weekend. We'll update you on your scoreboard. Houston is creeping toward a conference championship. Your best bets. How does this look on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino tonight? How about Arizona, a heavy favorite? I mean heavy. 15 points are the Wildcats' favorite. I don't know that they've been that favorite in a conference game this season. At home, giving up 15 points against the Utes tonight. Your over-under is 149.5. Pleased to be joined by my guys. We've got, as always, the captain, Kelvin Efon. We've got J.W. Madden. Guys, Tommy has moved on, which is the only thing you can do after that 1-point crushing loss to the BYU Cougars on Saturday night.
I mean, you have to. You have goals. And, of course, you want to win every game, but the reality of it is you're not going to win every game. You battled. You got yourself back in a position to win. The team ended up winning by, I think, 1 point? That's just how it goes, man. It's tough. You would love to have had that ball the last possession, right? So you can just get that thing over with. But, that's the way the ball bounces. I ain't going to lie. When I was watching and they called the foul for Caleb, I said, all they have to do is go to the hole. All they got to do is go to the basket, and they was going to get a call. Usually at the last minute, referees kind of let it play out. But in this case, again, when Caleb getting that and-one foul, and he didn't get the and-one. He got the free throws. If he got the and-one, you got a tie game. Right. So, yeah, man, it was just a tough call.
BYU shot 56% from the field. They shot 45% from three, making 14 three-pointers. They had 21 assists because their offense is humming right now. They played great. BYU came in. They played great. They won the game. There's nothing to move on from. I mean, if you wanted to point towards Arizona having 500 turnovers and that leading to BYU's win, we could have something to talk about. But BYU came in and won that game. Yeah. I mean, regardless of whatever, we think about calls at the end, they didn't lose the game because of the call. They lost the game because BYU shot 56% from the field in McHale and put up 96 points and played great. And they're playing great in general. Look at the last 5 games for them. So, tip your cap, move on to the next one.
All right, let's hear what Tommy Lloyd had to say after the loss to the Cougars on Saturday.
It's a bad call. I mean, whatever. What am I going to say? I mean, you hate for a game to be decided by that. I mean, Trey, I feel horrible for him. The guy didn't play in the second half. I tightened the rotation. He played good defense. Guy's pivoting, throws his shoulder at him, throws up a shot and falls down. It's a foul with 2 seconds to go. I mean, listen, it's the Big 12. That's what I'm told. And the guy who called it's one of the best refs. So, we got to live with it. But step back. They scored 93 points up to that point on our home court. That's the problem. That's the problem. Me and my staff and our players, that's the problem, not the officials. It would have been great to steal a victory, if they don't call that, but still don't put yourself in that position. That's the problem.
What do you think, other than the defense, maybe the difference between the time when you played them up in Provo?
I mean, they made a few nice adjustments with some ATOs, and listen, our guys were casual. Our guys were casual. Little casual shoot around, maybe a little casual showing up on time, and that stuff don't work. It don't work. So, we got to step it up. Monday, I better see the most focused group I've seen all year. And I know you guys won't be there. I better see the most focused group I've seen all year, Monday.
We talked about this before. It's not an excuse, but you had that. You had a big road win. They come, and they knew.
We're going to stop. We're not playing the transitive property. They beat us today. They made some better adjustments than we did. Their coach did a great job. Their players played with more urgency. Congrats to BYU.
Tommy Lloyd dropping those terms. Transitive property. I had to look that one up. I was like, what is he talking about on that one? Transitive property. If X, Y, and Z are the 3 quantities, if X is related to Y by some rule, Y is related to Z by the same rule, then we can say X is related to Z. Transitive property.
I mean, I could explain it off air because it's spicy.
There you go. Spicy for sure. Caleb Love on the 2 fouls at the end of the game, the one that involved him at the offensive end, the one that involved Trey Townsend at the defensive end.
As I was going off of my layup, I thought it was an and one. Ref made a call, and we put ourselves in a position to win the game, and, it went how it went.
Where were you on the play on the other end of the court when that foul was called?
I was on the opposite. Well, I was watching. I was at the top of the key, and I seen Trey had him, stuck, and then, thought he was playing great D.
Indeed. Yeah, we all thought that Trey Townsend was playing great D. I want to go back to something else Tommy Lloyd there said, Calvin. He said that he felt the players were a bit too casual in shoot-around. let's go to the mentality of what you need to be doing in shoot around. And were there times when you felt like when you were a player that your guys maybe weren't as focused in shoot around as they should be?
Usually it's versus a team that hadn't been playing well. Yes, it happens. It's human nature. You look at the schedule and you got UCLA. You're locked in. You look at the schedule, you have Oregon State in one of their down years, or Washington State and it's snowing, or, I just told you about when we had to go eat. We had to go eat the beef. Had to go eat Whataburger or whatever it was, Denny's. But whatever. Yes, you have those times that as a coach is something that you try to you try to look out for it, you try to be ahead of, and you try to be on the guys, but just sometimes, man, it just rears head at the wrong time. And I just think what Coach was talking about, sometimes guys just show up a little late. I mean, and they think it's okay because, hey, we're going to go play the game, I'm going to be ready to go. But when you look back at it, a coach could use that as an excuse to the reason why, the game didn't go well. So you just want everybody being where they're supposed to be, because at the end of the day, you are a leader to the rest of the guys on your team. And if one guy is out of place, it throws everybody out of whack. So it's just something that coaches usually, end up, you hear a coach making a change at the beginning of the game, and it's usually for something that simple.
The problem is that even the deep runs the Arizona Wildcats have made in the NCAA tournament took a bit of luck, and especially that national championship in '97. You think about those first two rounds, right? Well, what we're really talking about here is this entire season is preparing for the first game of the NCAA tournament, and then if you get past the first game, you get a chance to prepare for the second game. So your habits of getting there on time, of taking every single game seriously, is building habits towards your ultimate goal, which is to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, make a name for yourself on the national stage. That's what this game's all about. So if you don't show up 15 minutes early before the coaches tell you to, or half an hour early, Kelvin, then you're developing habits that you're not taking something seriously. And if you don't take everything seriously, that trickles to an event where you lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament because you're overlooking somebody or it's not a big a deal for you. Every single game, every single possession has to be serious.
And I'll tell you guys this, it's a bigger deal at home because guess what? The team that you're playing is on the road, so they're already together. They're already at the hotel. They're already on the bus together. But a lot of times when you're at home, it opens that little window. And I wonder if Coach is making guys stay in the hotel. I don't know.
Like you guys did that, right?
Yeah, Coach Olsen used to make us stay in the hotel because that way, the night before the game, because that way he knows where everybody at. Everybody's going to show up on time, going to be at lunch, breakfast and all the other things because you have to check into all that, right? So it's just one of them things at home that it can end up happening because you're doing tickets with family. I'm not trying to say that's what it is. Please don't go there, right? But it's just you could be a girlfriend. You could get caught in traffic. Those things don't happen when you have that police escort bring you to the arena.
All right, it is one of those situations when you talk about the game Saturday. We learned the name of Richie Padilla once again. It's been all over social media, which is. You prefer that not to be the case. Tommy Lloyd, though, wants his team to understand that you cannot worry about the guys that are wearing the stripes during these games.
Play better. Play better. That's the best Arizona solution. Not complaining about one call. Play better. There's 39 minutes and 58 seconds before that call to play better. Play better.
There you go. And in terms of playing better, start at the defensive end. At least in the last game, 14 made three-point shots, as J-Dub mentioned earlier in the show. Caleb Love on the barrage by the Cougars.
Role players came in and shot, even some of the players that, we may have thought statistically weren't that great, good of shooters, and, they came up big for them. We just got to be better with, adjusting to the game and adjusting to the flow of how the game is going.
Yeah, and the problem with that is, you set up a game plan, and the idea is you've got 3 shooters on the court that you can't leave and 2 guys who you're okay with leaving, Kelvin. Mm-hmm. And that's your game plan. Your defense is going to be completely set up to do those things. When those other 2 guys make threes, like the situations you might see where a guy is left open on that scout, Kelvin, that guy's not necessarily known as a, quote, shooter or has the green light, but throughout the course of the game, you have to adapt because one dude who shoots 18% from 3 for his career could very easily go 5 for 6. Anything can happen. So as soon as that's happening, you need to adjust and make sure that you're out on those guys because that's what happened against BYU. It wasn't 3 guys or 4 guys or 5 guys. It was 10 guys shooting threes.
Tommy Lloyd on BYU's shooting ability.
role players came in and shot, even
Nothing differently. They're a team that, obviously plays in a lot of spread brawl screen stuff, and they were really effective at it tonight. And our guys just didn't kind of have the sense of urgency we needed on some of our closeouts. But they do a great job of, when you do close out, attacking it real quick. So whether you get a hand-checking foul or you drive at the end of the game, KJ gets, beat on the baseline there. And we knew that going in. Our guys just didn't do a good enough job defensively executing, and that's disappointing.
It was. But again, we go back and going back and looking at the tape of that game, man, they and I wanted to ask you about this, Kelvin. They took a lot of those threes coming directly off the screen. It's difficult to defense that. There were a lot of times I thought guys defensed it as quickly as they could, fighting over the screen to at least try to still get a hand in the guy's face. But when a guy, comes off and shoots it right away, sometimes you're taking your chance on whether that ball's going to go in or not go in, which in Provo, it didn't go in. Here, they made, 9 of their last 13 shots.
Yeah, no, that's what's tough, man. And when you see a team start to get hot like that, that's when you full court press. That's when you be there early. That way, when the guys are trying to switch, you're already up. A lot of times when you're playing half-court defense, as a defender, you're already kind of dropped a little bit, which opens up those opportunities off those handoffs and off those different things for the guys that come off and have a shot. You will see a lot of times. You watch Alabama, you watch the top teams in the country, J-Dub. They play full court man-to-man. They grab their guy right now. Now, they're a little deeper than us, right? Or I wouldn't necessarily say they're deeper than us. I just say they coach trust a little bit better. I think they coaches understand that, the more guys playing, kind of give you some fresher guys at the end of the game. But I just feel like when you're playing up, J-Dub, that takes away those legs for late in the game. Their legs were too fresh. Their legs were too fresh, and we needed to be up in them just a little bit more, because if you take away 1 or 2 of those threes, it's a different game, and that's a fact.
The problem, the space came from the rolls. So it's 3, layup, 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 dunk, dunk, 3, 3, 3, layup, layup, dunk. Go look at the box score. Go look at the play-by-play of the last 10 minutes. Dallin Hall made layups after layups after layups, and then it was Keba, right? Got in and that was like towards the end. And so you're talking about those guys coming off those screens. You either go under because they're not a shooter, or you chase over the top because they are a shooter. But if you're chasing over the top in a scenario by which the last 5 possessions, the roll man has gotten a dunk right at the rim, the big who is dealing with that screen for the Arizona side of things is also worrying about the roll man, because the roll man has just beat them 3 out of 5 possessions. So there's the extra space for that shooter to come off. If the defender trailing over the top of that screen isn't close enough, that's where the extra airspace comes for those guys to launch those shots. They did it with confidence. They knocked them down.
That was just the second time in the Tommy Lloyd era that the Arizona Wildcats had lost a basketball game when they scored 90 points. 43 wins to 2 losses. For the record, that's a 96% winning percentage. Let's hear from Tommy Lloyd on that. Tommy Lloyd says you usually win when you score 90 points.
I didn't think we had a great flow, but still scored 90-some points. So that's a good thing. But you need to take advantage of that. You can't score the ball like that and play defense like we did. And so, that's the cross we got to bear.
Indeed, that is the cross you got to bear. I think most of us would take winning 96% of the time when you score more than 90 points.
And the one thing, J-Dub, you were totally right about that pick and roll. But, my thing is, and this is just, for my coaching thing and, as a player thing too, I said it before, you can't give guys two-way goals, right? And, of course, you're right about that pick and roll doing that. But, like I know, that's when you force that backside help, man, to make that backside help, take that roller to force that pass over, and you got to get there. Now, they did hit a couple – I almost call them lucky threes, especially that was from, who was that? Baker? No, it wasn't Baker. It was who was 4 for 6? Catching.
Catching.
He was catching and lunching. Yeah. He was 4 for 6, right?
Yeah.
And to me, he the one who really broke our back, right? And I just feel like you got
3 of those from the corner too,
right?
And that's the deal. Corner 3, they were set up in the corner, allowing for that space to be open down the middle,
trying to chase that down. And that's where it comes from. And I guess what I was saying was, when I see that they're hitting threes like that, I'd rather take you killing me with the 2 and us trying to rally to stop you from that 2 to continue just to let you knock those threes down, because you see that they're going. You see that they're playing well from there. So now that's when I got to force you to go to the basket. I have to, that's why I didn't mind the closeout by KJ. I just wish that he would have kind of stayed down to be able to cut the guy off like he usually does.
All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We are getting you set for the Wildcats and the Utah Utes tonight at McHale Center. Tip-off is coming up at 7 o'clock. Ryan Hansen and Brian Jeffries will be on the call. You'll hear it on Wildcats Radio 1290 and K-Hit 97.5. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Our one of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Poston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 five-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom-order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand, made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's cold outside and you need safe, reliable heat for you and your family. For a limited time, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is offering a free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying HVAC split system. For fast, reliable service, call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
On the night, Saunders missed the free throw. The rebound, though, is loose. Gathered in by Caleb Love. Cats in a hurry. Love will drive the other way. Leave it for a trailing Vasar. Back to Love. Deep three is up and good for Love. 32.6 left. And the Wildcats quickly back within one timeout.
Arizona and Utah tonight here in Tucson at McHale Center. This will be the 73rd meeting all time between these two teams. Arizona leads the series 40-32, so it's a close series between these two clubs. Utah's last win here in Tucson came all the way back in 1986, December of 1986, when they beat the Wildcats 68-67. I would have been a freshman in college at that particular time, December of 1986. This is the third conference tonight. Tonight will represent the third conference that these two teams have played in together. They were in the Western Athletic Conference, the WAC, together from 1962 to 1978. Obviously, they were in the Pac-12 together between 2011 and 2024. And now they are in the Big 12 together. Overall, Utah held the advantage in the WAC, 17-15. However, Arizona holds the advantage in the Pac-12, or did, at 19-4. That's what you got between these two teams. Let's take our first look at Arizona and Utah. Time now to take our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices, biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. All right, so this will be the first game back at McHale, obviously, since Saturday night. The first game since there was a little incident in the Zona Zoo after the ball game. We did not talk about or address this on the postgame show. We were not aware of it until after the show ended, that there had been some chanting that went on after the ball game that was not very nice, to say the least, uncalled for in the direction of BYU, its players, its fans, its community. And Tommy Lloyd addressed that in his press conference this week, also addressing how he felt a few days later about how the game ended for his team.
Was it a bad call? I stick by my guns like that. By that, I mean, other people may not think it was. Did I love the way our defense played? No, but it was a great college basketball game. I mean, you had two teams going at it. I mean, there was some high-level offense on both sides. It goes down to the final possession. I mean, what an awesome game. And listen, I've competed against BYU for years, and I really enjoy doing that. My biggest disappointment was the way our fans and students, reacted to some of their players coming off the court. There's no place in society, let's just start with that overall, but especially in collegiate athletics, where anyone's religion or race should become a focal point, ever. So that was my biggest disappointment. And I know maybe BYU's probably, it's not the first time it's happened to them. And it's disappointing that it continues to happen. And hopefully, with us, being full-time members in a conference with them, that our fans will learn that that's just not acceptable. I mean, and so to me, that was the overriding disappointment more than just the result of the game. Was that. So hopefully it's an opportunity to be better and do better, and we all take it as that.
That was Tommy Lloyd after the ball game. He was asked if he had spoken to Desiree Reed-Francois about the situation.
Desiree's handling that. I mean, obviously, I'm sticking to the basketball side of things. Her and I communicated a little bit the following day on it, and she's on it. She's on that stuff, and so I think it's been, I know it's been dealt with, in a number of ways, and but it still doesn't erase that it happened. So let's learn from it and move forward, and every person in this face of this earth deserves respect. And obviously that was not a sign of respect, what happened at the end of that game.
Kelvin, J-Dub and I have obviously talked about this ad nauseum over the course of the last 2 days. I just want to get your thoughts on what happened there at the end in terms of the Zona Zoo.
Yeah, unacceptable. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we had the incident with the UCLA kid, whatever happened there. But then just to hear the fans doing that, first thing came to my mind, I was like, what if we have recruits here? Recruits and their parents here. That's not, something that you want
First
them to
thing
think.
that I thought of was, what would Coach Olson think?
Right. And then the other thing that came to my mind is, just as a player, I was thinking, like, if you feel that way about them, how do you feel about me?
Right.
And so those different little things come into your mind, which, shouldn't be. It should be just a tough game. You lost. And and of course your crowd could be disappointed. It was a foul, but why is that directed toward the players? It seemed it should be directed more toward the refs if they was ticked about that. Now I will say, I did see BYU players a little hyped over there, which they won and someone else home, and it's a big win for them. They need it and everything, but they were acting a little tough over it. I mean, you just won.
Cade, key transfer from Utah. He never beat Arizona, and as soon as the game ended, he directed 2 loser signs directly at the student section, and he stood up on the back and they were taunting the students a little bit.
Okay, so I did see they player was a little hype over there, but that was a little far for me, to react that way.
This is actually a great example of the transitive fallacy, is really the way that most people think of it, which is that 50 morons in the U of A student section, 100, 200, 500, however many, did a really dumb thing and a very offensive chant. Expletives have no place in a public sphere like that to begin with, let alone disparaging somebody else's religion or belief system. There's no place for that. The transitive fallacy, DK, is one incident happens where 100 people say a dumb chant at the end of a semi-controversial game, and the news is Arizona fans do this. Tucson believes this. The U of A believes this. You understand? The transitive fallacy is that you can put that on the entire fan base as people who believe in the same thing. And why I mentioned Coach Olson is because those of us who are around in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, ask a single person in the sphere of college basketball who the classiest coach during that era was, and they will all say Coach Lute Olson, every single one of them. Win with grace, lose with grace, show respect to your opponents at all times. And we as a fan base followed in Coach Olson's footsteps and have always treated. Go on any message board, you know what you see the vast majority of? Kindness, losing with class. The Arizona fan base online. I'm not talking about some idiot on their own Twitter feed. I'm talking about any public message board that's national. There's a element of Coach Olson, guys, carrying along that idea of always treat your opponents with respect. And I don't know, Kelvin, if it's been too long and some of these 18 to 22-year-olds just don't understand what the Arizona brand is all about. They have their own take on what it should be. But this whole thing, like, I got offended, so therefore I have to be as offensive as possible to somebody else, that's the modern mindset for a lot of people that age. That's not the way that we grew up following this program and the way that we believe you should treat your opponents. You treat them with class and respect.
The one thing that concerned me a little bit was that a chant? Because it sounded like it was together.
Well, they were doing it refs. What happened was
I'm like, how did you get that? How did you coordinate that?
Because it's not the first, 5th, or 10th time that chant has happened in the Big 12 just this very season. It's a thing.
Copycat.
Well, I mean, this is a long story, a deep thing to get into, but yeah, I mean, I personally, my uncle was a bishop for 30 years. My grandfather was the head of the Lions Club in Salt Lake City. My family is deeply intertwined with LDS. There's an element of it's acceptable to have a public opinion that's negative about an entire group of people, again, transitive stuff. And some of those people who are too young and dumb to understand what a line that they're crossing by being so offensive to a large, I mean, how many LDS, there's 400 different sects at the LDS church. So there's, 500 million people a member of that church worldwide? I don't know, but it's a lot of people. The whole incident, bottom line is the whole incident was unacceptable. And I'm glad that the coach and Desiree have the same exact take on it, Kelvin, that Coach Olsen would have, which is no, never. That's not acceptable. That can't happen. That does not represent what we're all about. Treat your opponents with class. They came in and kicked our butts. On to the next one.
Transitive property and transitive fallacies. You thought we just talked basketball on this show, but you learn lessons as we go along here on Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. 520-848-1290 is the number. We want to hear from you on everything that we're talking about. We want to hear from you on Arizona basketball. If you have something you want to say about the Zona Zoo situation, we'll take your calls or your texts on that. Text us at 520-848-1290. We'll read your text on the air. You can watch this show right now on YouTube, Facebook Live, and or Twitch. Those are the top 3 platforms. We may also put it up on Instagram Live at some point tonight, and you can listen to it on Wildcats Radio 1290 or just download our app. Our app slaps. All kinds of great stuff. If you hadn't heard, the head coach of the Utah Utes fired this week, Craig Smith. That is a story at the top of our app page right now. Much more coming up for you straight ahead, but that is our first dive into Arizona and Utah. And that's our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every game. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. Could be somebody from the other team. We'll tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day post-game show. Much more straight ahead. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Hey, man. Yeah, it's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of a home remodel, don't stress. The Window Depot is here to help. At the Window Depot, we're your one-stop warehouse for everything you need for your next remodel. Windows? Check. Doors? Got it. Cabinets, countertops, and everything in between? You'll find it all here at the lowest prices. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or whole home makeover, our experienced designers are ready to bring your dream home to life, all at unbeatable prices. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
The other way, quickly to Bryant. Carter to the bucket, put it up and good.
A strong move for Carter. Took a hit from J.T. Toppin and laid it in.
Our pregame show, Spotlight on a Cat, is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. All right, you heard that basket there by Carter Bryant. You heard the analysis there by Ryan Hansen. Ryan had a chance to catch up with the freshman big, who is shooting 40% from three in Big 12 play and has 25 blocked shots this season. That is just one shy of breaking into the top 10 by a freshman here at the University of
How about freshman
Arizona.
wing, though? Like, Kelvin, I mean, how many... That's probably like Stokes, and I mean, how many freshman centers are on that list relative to guys? You don't expect Carter Bryant to be top 5 freshman shot blockers.
Well, being that he got moved to basically the 4,
right?
Kind of, you can understand it a little better.
Well, I just think it's his length and his instincts for such a young player. I mean, being able to get in there and put his hand where it needs to go. Rare. What I'm saying is it's rare for a guy that age, freshman list of shot blockers, to be a dude who can also shoot 40% from 3 in the Big 12. Yeah. Those two things have never happened before at the same time.
That's true.
All right, let's hear from Carter Bryant, who talked about just his freshman season and how it's all coming together.
I would just say I give all props to the coaching staff and my teammates, along with even the managers. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the work you put in. And for me, just constantly having ideas to bounce off the coaching staff and things of that nature, along with having the managers being willing to come in and rebounding for me late at night, early in the morning, just being willing to help me get reps, whether that's really guarding me, passing, rebounding for me, those sort of things. And then my teammates giving me the confidence to do what I've been working on. Coming into a new level of basketball that's more physical, it's hard to adjust to it. But I mean, my teammates and everybody on the staff, our whole Arizona family has done a great job of helping me grow.
On the defensive end, I think you guys are probably underrated as a defensive unit. I think a lot of people talk about Arizona and the explosive offense, but defensively, that's probably been the reason behind why you guys have been so successful as of late. Kind of describe what you guys have done defensively to be so good at it this season.
It's props to the coaching staff completely understanding that the defensive side of the basketball is what wins big games. You can't come in and expect to shoot 40% from the three-point line as a team every game. Like, there's going to be games where you have unbelievable play as an individual and as a team. But at the end of the day, the defensive side of the ball is what is going to propel us forward, just to get stops, rebounds. Like I said, get those deflections, stay in the gaps and those sort of things. But I definitely agree. I think we're a very underrated defensive team. And I think as we move forward, our defense is going to keep getting better and better.
Talk a little bit about the difference between a high school scouting report and an elite level, high level basketball scouting report at the college level, what the differences are and how much more detail goes into it.
Coming in every day, like, it's something that we work towards here. Like, you understand, after we win a basketball game, you're watching film on the game that we just played. You're just trying to fix the little mistakes you had, and you can find some tweaks, see where you can be better. But outside of that, yeah, it's right on to the next. And I think that's the biggest thing is you get so little time to prepare and you have to gather so much information. I mean, just the tendencies in general. Just understand, a guy may like to go left, but what's his counter to it? What's his move to get back to a certain shoulder? Things of that nature. Like, it's very more complex in terms of percentages and all those things. So it's definitely a different level of scouting at this level.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. Carter Bryant, 6'8", 225-pound freshman forward out of Riverside, California, Corona Centennial High School. Got ties to Arizona. His aunt, Shaquilla Torres, played volleyball here back in the Dave Rubio era of 2011, 2013. And always great to hear from that young, talented freshman who has started 5 games this year for your Arizona Wildcats. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's hear from Danny. You're on Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Gameday.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. How you doing today?
Good, Danny. How are you?
I'm great. I just got in the car and started hearing the show when J-Dub was talking about, who we are as Arizona Wildcats and the influence that Lute had on that, and it's just, it's so true. When we go to tournaments, when we go to, locations for the tournament, we're known. It's like we have very strong, and confident, good people. And it's just like JW said, we're known for that. This incident, didn't we have something a year after NTN spit towards the student section? Didn't they kind of pull something then too? But my point is, they're 18 years old. They're barely adults at best. I don't think something like that is gonna tarnish our reputation. As J-Dub said, that thing has been carried around, and we just have enough people that are immature enough, to roll into that.
I think you got to know better, though. I mean, I think, and again, I point, we can say, yeah, they're teenagers and all that, but that it goes to how you're raised. I mean, when I was in college, we sparred. I mean, I've talked to a bunch of times. We sparred with Gary Payton. We sparred with the guys from UCLA, Derek Martin, and all them dudes back in the day. But it was never mean spirited. It was never derogatory. It was like if you want to say Gary Payton sucks, Yeah, okay. Well, that maybe that even there's probably some people that think that goes over the line right there. But I thought Tommy put it perfectly. When you get into religion and race, that's where you cannot cross that line.
Have you ever been on social media?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, like the Gary Payton era, like the difference is that anybody who's 18 to 22-year-old now has grown up in an era of trolling, and that's what social media is I'm going to put out a very strong opinion. LeBron James sucks. Michael Jordan sucks. A very strong opinion and get people to react to you. Sometimes those opinions don't have to do with sports. Sometimes they have to do with politics or religion or any other thing. And so the element of the way we were, again, this isn't old people yelling at clouds. The difference between coming up in an era before social media relative to anybody who's been raised in the last 15 or 20 years and gone through that during high school and all of that, the line that's crossable, DK, is so much different than it was when Gary Payton was roaming McHale. I saw Gary Payton play 4 times in McHale. Never once did I yell profanities at him, no matter how good he was, right? But there's a different era, and this is not me making excuses for those people, and some of them are probably in their 40s who are chanting that as well. We can't put it all at the feet of the guys in school, but the element of being trollish and trying to get under people's skin is just is a result of people permanently living on social media. And that idea of I'm untouchable in my bedroom, I can say whatever I want to all these famous people. A lot of times that spills out into public sphere. And Kelvin, I mean, before and again, this is just the way it works nowadays. Not making excuses for them, but the ability for people to come out and try to make other people hurt is a big part of what motivates people these days, and it's because of their spending so much time on social media. That's how that runs.
Yeah, and if I could, to add to that, it's correct. It's like look at the local news. It's all bad news these days, right? And so I look at it as, look, you guys know I started school here in '81. I got my degrees in '85 and '87. Arizona basketball is the only sport and team that I really care about at all, and I'm nuts about it. And I just think when I heard it, and then I started seeing the articles and such, I'm like, this is just, it doesn't represent us at all, and so like people just want to grab a hold of it for some news. Now I saw this podcast that I thought was awful. That was supposed to be an Arizona Wildcats podcast where the guy was on the floor after the game was over, and he was swearing about some of these people waiting for BYU people. Where do they get these people? I'm not going to say who or what, thank you. But it's just inappropriate. Now, can I just add a positive note to this?
Absolutely.
In 1997, we were a 4 seed. We didn't play the way our basketball team did in 21, 22, 22, 23. And to get to the Final Four that year, we had to beat a 13 and 11, Kansas as a 1. And if y'all remember, I know you do, J-Dub, we had to go to overtime to beat Providence, who was a 10, right?
That was God Shamgar, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, God Shamgar.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, good answer. And I remember freaking out in that game because we just beat Kansas, the number 1 seed. Like, I think they were the overall number 1 seed that year, likely. And then we go to Providence, we go to the game against Providence, and we thought, it was looking sketchy. But I'm just trying to say, hey, man, we have a great program. In my opinion, we have the coach because, as J-Dub was saying, Lute Olson did nothing but be respectful and a very high regard in how he treated people. Look at Kelvin Sampson. Kelvin Sampson is very animated during a game, but he's a very respectful guy. I saw an article after the Texas Tech game. And,
except for to the media who cover his team.
Yeah, we won there, but I'm sorry?
I said, except for to the media who cover his team. A couple weeks ago, DK played a clip of him breaking down one of the media members who was following him and just going off on him. But yeah, obviously, Kelvin Sampson, very classy coach.
Yeah. I mean, right after they beat Texas Tech, he in his interview said we need to put an asterisk on it. They're missing some players. They're a great program. They can go far. But it just got my attention as I came on to listen to the show today. Sorry I wasn't in the car by 3. But that always trips me off. It gets me going because we're proud of that. And when we've gone to the Final Fours, the people from the four teams generally have a really good time with each other. When we went in '94 and Arkansas beat us, those people were the nicest people in the world. Before and after the game, and through the rest of the state. So, yeah, I'm proud to be a Wildcat, and I know that we're regarded as a very deeply revered team. We have a history that speaks for itself, and we're known as good people that don't travel anywhere.
Yep. There you go. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how many people are going to be in Kansas City. This is going to be something new for the Wildcats.
Yeah. Hey, and my last thought is, because sometimes you do the BetMGM, is I think 16.5 is an awful lot for tonight.
It's a lot.
Circle the wagons.
You gonna play it? You gonna lay it?
No, you know what happened on Saturday? I played a 4-team and a 5-team J-Dub, and the only reason I lost was Arizona on both of them.
Yeah,
I played Houston. Listen, watch this one. Monday night I played Houston, giving 1.5. I thought, well, okay, even though it was at Texas Tech. And Kansas giving 6.5, and they won by 7. So we pulled that out.
Jeez.
But go Cats, and I'll be anxious to hear what you guys do and where you put your stock tonight.
Okay, outstanding. Danny, thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Danny.
I appreciate you.
Bear down.
520-848-1290. He brought up that 1997 regional final in Birmingham. I just pulled up.
They had another guard that year. What was his name, Kelvin? They had another guard who I think went to the league too, other than Godsham God. That was a good Providence team.
Austin Crozier?
Well, yeah. He was a wing, though, I think. Yeah, he was like a 3. But yeah, they had some.
That was Godsham God, Jamel Thomas, Derek Brown, Ruben Garces, and Austin Crozier.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a good squad, and they were playing really good late in that season too.
Jamel Thomas, that's his brother. I got to think of who his brother is. Played in the NBA too.
63 points combined scored in the first half. 107 points combined scored in the second half of that game. So it was real tight, apparently, through the first 20 minutes, and then things opened up to get that game to overtime, where the Wildcats won it by 4, 96-92. Speaking of BetMGM, Arizona was favored by 3 in that game, and they won by 4. How about that? 1997. See what happens this year in the NCAA tournament. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. 1 hour in the books, 2 hours left to go. Lots more still straight ahead for you. Kelvin Efon is here. J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Post and Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Are you having sewer and drain issues? Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is the name to know when your drains don't flow. We do the dirty jobs so you can focus on yours. Leave the drain pain to the experts. Call Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or pixrockschooling.com.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the Diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Our beautiful Arizona winter weather brings cooler overnight temperatures, which means some of you are now seeing your vehicle's low pressure warning light. Colder overnight temperatures can lower your tire's pressure just enough to trigger a warning light. But don't worry, many times the solution is simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. Then get back to enjoying the fantastic winter weather. If adding the air doesn't do the trick, stop by any of our 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with the low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Mention this radio offer for free installation with the purchase of any new tire pressure sensor. We'll install it in your wheel and rebalance your tires absolutely free. You'll find even more specials to get your car road trip ready at jackfurriers.com. So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just drop by. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Walker going to drive, put it off the glass short, put back his own follow. Nice move there.
Really nice move. You can see Baylor's going to put a lot of pressure on Tobey at the top of the key to take him away from that high-low look. He did a great job of putting pressure on the rim and following it up.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Hour number 2 of our show. We will have DK with TL coming up here very soon. My questions to the head coach this week. Your college basketball scoreboard. BYU is back on the floor tonight up in Tempe against ASU. Who will be that Ute that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? Your pest of the game. Your view from courtside. We're going to talk to one of these students covering Arizona basketball. Melissa Guzaloglu. Say that 5 times fast. Guzaloglu.
Kelvin, you want to give it a shot? No, me either.
She is the sports editor of your Daily Wildcat. So Melissa will join us. She loves the NBA. We might talk some NBA with her as well.
Did you guys watch the game last night?
I did not. You mean you're talking about the Lakers and the Mavericks,
Oh,
right?
boy.
I did not see.
Kyrie went crazy. Klay Thompson looked like he was 10 years younger. LeBron looked like he was in his 30s. And Luka had a triple-double in the first half. It was crazy.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Your best bets, Arizona is a 15-point favorite in this game today. The over-under is 149.5. JT Wistrasil will join us a little bit later as well. He is locked on the Utes. He will have your scouting report. And as always, that is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Toby Owaka, 7 double-doubles this season. He leads the team in that respect. The 6'8 junior forward transfer out of Hyde Park, New York, and the University of Tennessee. Toby was asked recently if he feels like when he's out there, because we've seen him bully those guys on the block to get offensive rebounds. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the Big 12, if not all of college basketball. And he was asked if he feels stronger than everyone else when he's out there on the floor.
I think I kind of go into every game with the same mentality, just try to dominate. Whether it be scoring the ball, rebounding, playing defense, whatever way I can. Some games go better than others. That's just kind of the flow of the season and how basketball, the sport works in general. So I try to go in every single day with the same mindset, respect my opponent no matter who I'm playing.
Yeah, that's one of the things with Toby. I mean, he's had some up and down games in terms, at least maybe in terms of offensively. So far this season, but the last 2 have been very solid. And really, when you look at it, 5 of the last 6. At BYU, he had 14. Texas Tech, he scored 14. Kansas State, he had 10. But then there was the game against Houston. He didn't score any points. But he's bounced back with 2 straight double-doubles against Baylor and BYU. So you'd like him to stay obviously consistent in that, maybe doubling, kind of like we saw last year from Umar Balo, and not fall off into those games like Houston where he scores 0, like at Arizona State where he only gets 2, like at Texas Tech where he only scored 8 points.
Well, of course, you want him hitting the double-doubles, especially giving you that low-post presence. But anything, you want him on those boards. I mean, his job really is to rebound and to be that bully under the basket, pushing people away from the basket. Not really a shot blocker, but, again, any of those little baskets that you can get him into those duck ends, you can throw him the ball. He finishes pretty good around there. He seems to be getting better with his mid-range jump shot and with his floater, so that opens up more opportunities to be able to score as well.
Yeah, 15 minutes against Houston and no field goal attempts. So that's why he had no points, because he didn't get any shots
double.
up.
You know our Houston doubles are on the box.
Yep.
They bring big to big double, and they don't let up.
We mentioned his 8 rebounds per game this season. That ranks him 4th among all Big 12 players, and 14 and 10 Saturday against BYU. We mentioned 7th double-double this season, 9th of his career. Toby feels like he's finally starting to find his role with his new team.
Sort of being a defensive anchor and just cleaning up everything defensively, rebounding-wise, and then offensively setting great screens, scoring when the opportunity is presented, and then offensive rebounding as well. Just kind of, doing all the dirty work and just taking pride in that.
Owaka has 10 games this season with 10-plus rebounds. That is 4th most currently in the Big 12. Toby Owaka. All right, time now for the moment you've all been waiting for. It is DK with TL, sponsored by Nobody. My questions weekly to the head coach. And there's, as always, a lot of good stuff to talk about. Tommy first opens up kind of talking about the BYU game and how he felt like it all went down for the Arizona Wildcats.
Was it a bad call? I stick by my guns by that. I mean, other people may not think it was. Did I love the way our defense played? No. But it was a great college basketball game. I mean, you had 2 teams going at it. I mean, there was some high-level offense on both sides. It goes down to the final possession. I mean, what an awesome game. And listen, I've competed against BYU for years, and I really enjoy doing that. My biggest disappointment was the way our fans and students, reacted to some of their players coming off the court. there's no place in society, let's just start with that overall, but especially in collegiate athletics, where anyone's religion or race should become a focal point, ever. So that was my biggest disappointment. And you know, I know maybe BYU's probably, it's not the first time it's happened to them. And it's disappointing that it continues to happen. And hopefully, you know, with us, you know, being full-time members in a conference with them, that our fans will learn that that's just not acceptable. I mean, and so to me, that was the overriding disappointment more than just the result of the game. You know, was that. So hopefully it's an opportunity to be better and do better, and we all take it as that.
Tommy, I know there's coaches like Rick Pitino who have come out and said, we're not doing the handshake line anymore. Do you have an opinion either way on that?
I don't mind the handshake line because I think it's a great opportunity to show class. You know what? And I'm not afraid to show class, and even in tough moments. You know, now listen, you know, I'm sure some of our players didn't respond. You know, I heard there was a little bit of an incident. I was off the floor by then. You know, and could you avoid those things? But just eliminating something, does that make us a better society? Why can't you go shake hands with someone who just, whatever, either they kicked your ass, you kicked their ass, or, you know, they're on the fortunate side, you're on the unfortunate side. How hard is that to do? So to me, you know, they can, I understand why people want to do it. You want to avoid these one-off situations. But I also think it's a great opportunity to show class, you know, to show compassion, you know, to show respect. So I'm always going to err on that side.
They shoot the ball off, the three ball, so quickly off the screen. How did you feel like your team defends that?
Well, I mean, listen, those are hard shots. Those are really hard shots. You know, if you probably look at, you know, percentages of things, you know, if we're getting into analytics, and I know you guys love your analytics, you know, threes on the move are hard shots, and to make those the way they did, and as many of them, you know, it's impressive. You know, I mean, you know, I don't know. Maybe the next game they just roll out. I don't know. You know, I mean, that's what's hard about those. You know, but there were also a lot of easy shots. You know, that you know, that their offense created for themselves, and whether that's from a defensive mistake or not, there was a lot of easy shots that you go back, and those are the ones that you gotta focus on. Those are your more controllables.
Tommy, we all rave, you included, about KJ Lewis's defense. Where do you, though, want to see him take that next step?
You know, I mean, I think KJ's fine. I think KJ just got to stay locked in, and I like the way he's contributing. And, you know, sometimes there doesn't need to be a next step. Sometimes you just need to kind of hone in and stay consistently where you're at. We're obviously well into the season. You know, I'm not going to, expect or ask KJ to make drastic changes to his game at this point because he's really helping us. So, you know, I just want to continue to see him do what he's doing and you know, and continue to see his confidence grow in those big moments, and then just at the end of the day, really trust in his habits. Trust his habits at the most important moments, and I think he's done that a lot over the course of this year, and I just want to see him continue to grow in that area.
Would you have liked him to be a little bit closer on that Moet Mag 3 in the corner?
I mean, for sure. I mean, I would have loved him to block the shot, and it didn't even get attempted. But like, there's reasons it happens. You know, that stuff happens, and you know, it could have been a mental error on his side. You know, it could have been a positional error. It could have been maybe one of his teammates, you know, switched a ball screen, didn't switch it correctly, and there's a roller going down the middle of the lane that KJ's got great instincts on defense, and he sees a guy run into the basket, he's probably going to want to help. I mean, there's lots of reasons these things happen, and it might not be KJ.
All right, that is DK with TL, the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. I got a chance to talk to him yesterday, and talking a little bit more again about KJ Lewis and Kelvin. I had sent out a tweet earlier this week that I thought there were a couple of errors that looked like KJ made at the end of the game. The one was on the Moet Mag 3-point shot where when you looked at the tape, you had two shooters on the wing. Now, again, and the way I prefaced it was Moet Mag is not one of their top 3-point shooters. He'd only taken, I think, 52 all season long. but he was in three-point position. On the other side, you had a three-point shooter. Caleb Love was literally could have touched his guy. He was that close, whereas KJ had 1 foot in the lane, couldn't get out to the wet mag, and he was able to knock down that late three that helped them stretch out the lead. The other one was the play where he fouled out, where my thought there, and I'll ask you, was you can't give up the baseline there. If you're going to jump out on the three-point shooter, jump out and force him to go inside versus giving him the baseline in that situation.
Well, I agree, but what happens late in these games sometimes is your rules. The rules of what you're taught how to play defense take over, and you forget about what's actually happening in the game. Because on the one where he was help side on the backside box, that is exactly where you want your guy to be at. Because if a rebound happens, you're right there in position to turn and take a look at the guy in the corner, check him and box him and get that rebound. If it bounces over, you have to have a guy on that backside rebound. Now, and so again, you got to take your hats off to the offense for putting them in a situation where they can have us spread out like that. Now, once you do see that ball in the air, there has to be a little bit more effort. And again, that's at the end of the game, but a little bit more effort to get there on the catch because of the way that kid had been shooting up to that point. You want to get there and force him off the dribble. The second one, where he did close out and take the guy away, you would want him to send him to the middle, but I'm not sure in this defense whether or not the middle or the baseline matters. There should have been another help come. It's called help the helper, right? He go out there and he runs that guy off the line. The next guy's supposed to be there. And I think a guy did show up. Who was that? Vazo?
I think it was Owaka.
Somebody showed up, and then KJ just kind of reached late. And all he had to do was just stay disciplined instead of reaching right there. But, he's a defensive player trying to make a play. But at that point in the game, I think we had him in a tough position. We had him basically doubled.
Yeah, it's all pick your poison. When everything's spread these days, when you have 3 or 4 shooters on the court and a roll man who can finish above the rim, that's the prime set for every team in the NBA, for a lot of college teams these days. The question is, can you put 3 or 4 shooters out there who can consistently knock them down? You mentioned Moet, like he wasn't a shooter, but he was that day, right? And so in a situation like that, KJ, in general, unless it's Steve Nash or TJ McConnell, you always want to push players baseline because that's a second defender. You put your left foot, if they're in the right corner, you put your left foot on the line. They can't go past you unless they're going out of bounds. That's generally what's taught. Some players like Steve Nash, how many times do we see Steve Nash circle around the basket going baseline? He wanted to do that every single time. It's just a scenario by which the BYU, what were they, did you say? 9 for their last 14?
9 for their last 13.
Okay, so it was the entire team was humming. All of them were knocking shots down. As a defender like KJ, who's trying to cover all 5 guys at once or help everybody whenever he possibly can, he's got his head on a swivel because he knows all 4 of the other guys that he's not guarding, Kelvin, got it going. He's trying to affect it and get sometimes in those situations because he's such a helpful good teammate to the guys who are out there who aren't as good at defenders as he is. Sometimes he might help a little bit too much, leave his man a little bit too much. In that case, it's just a situation where BYU's offense spreading out with those 2 guys on the corner and the roll man with that pick and roll at the top of the key was killing Arizona.
All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, Wildcats and the Utah Utes. Tip-off coming up for you at 7 o'clock. We got our guy Richard Jefferson up on the screen right now. ESPN. He's going to be a part of the #1 broadcast team for ESPN basketball come next season. So congratulations to him for that.
Yeah, it's Mike Breen and Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson.
That's a good team right there. Good threesome to give you your NBA basketball starting next year. All right, much more coming up for you straight ahead. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, and you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of our pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Accidents cause hassles as big as the Grand Canyon.
So we're hitting the road to spread the word about the burn.
The Eagle at Goldberg and Osborne.
Freeway fiasco in Flagstaff.
Hurt in Havasu.
Totaled in Tucson.
No worries. The Eagle has offices across the state. From Kingman
to Sierra Vista, where they fight hard to get you more.
So relax and ride on.
Because the bird is the word.
Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and spiders, scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Tried to throw it away, and it's stolen away by Del Orso on a bad pass from Diamond. And now here goes Anthony the other way. Leave it for trailing Vasar. 3 ball is up and good from Henry Vasar.
Henry Vasar showing he can do a little bit of everything for this Arizona Wildcats club since he has stepped in now to a starting role for the Arizona Wildcats the last 3 games. Or actually 2. This will be 3 tonight. Averaging 9 points and 5 rebounds on the season is Henry Vasar. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Wildcats and the Utah Utes tonight coming up for you up at McHale Center. 7 o'clock is tip-off. We have got you up until 6:30 when the network takes over. Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen, and then it'll be tip-off coming up for you at 7 tonight. We'll be back with you after the game for 2 more hours of Arizona basketball talk. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, the post-game show, scheduled from about 10 to midnight tonight. So we'll actually get done before midnight for once on one of these night games.
Unless there's some after-game extracurriculars we got to talk about for a few hours.
There you go. You never know. You never know. All right, let's take a look at what is happening around the rest of college basketball tonight.
Let's take a look at what's happening around the rest of the country. The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
Cryer, the leaner, lost the ball, bounces around. Cryer has it, kick out Uzan, left wing 3, got it! Pass deflected by Uzan. Uzan picks up the loose ball. Wants to attack to the hoop. Right hand off the glass for 2 and a foul. Tugler hands it off to Cryer. Cryer off the screen, right elbow. Cryer looking to go baseline. Cryer all the way outside out of Roberts. Finds Tugler. Tugler, the right hand hammer and a foul. What a slam by JoJo Tugler.
JoJo Tugler. Slammed a couple times on Arizona here a few weeks ago. Number 4, Houston on Monday night went down to Lubbock and beat Texas Tech in their own building 69-61 to go to 16-1 on the season. 3 games left, Kelvin, and it looks like this Houston Cougars team might very well be able to go 19-1 in this conference.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're just so mature, man. I mean, they're a veteran group, and they just lock down on defense. I mean, the way that they defense, we always hear defense travel, where their defense travels and gives them easy offense off of it. They just a tough team to play. Kevin Sampson got the guys that he wants.
22 points for Milos Yuson in that game on Monday night. The victory for Houston clinched them a tie, so they will at least share the conference title. They could lose out, and Arizona could win out, and both teams would finish 16-4. The Arizona is the only team that could do that because Texas Tech with that loss now 12-5, so they cannot match Houston. Arizona still could
if Houston lost all of their remaining games.
Right, exactly. Right. If they lost the final 3, then the Wildcats could sneak into the other half of that share of the title. Tommy Lloyd, if he was surprised, Houston clinched a share of the Big 12 title with 3 games left.
No, not at all. I mean, obviously they were trending to do that, and Houston's having an incredible season, and Coach Sampson does a great job, and it's been really impressive, what he's been able to build there, and I mean. And obviously, we feel like we're not far off at Arizona, but we're not acting like we've arrived either. We know we got work to do, and feel like the trend is going in the right direction. With how we're building this thing.
Do you have much recollection of Coach Sampson at Washington State, or were you maybe too young?
Very little. I mean, he had left. I think before I even got started at Gonzaga, and I was living in a small logging town, playing Little League baseball, when he was coaching at Wazoo. So I don't have a lot of memories.
Yeah, I was wondering, were you at Whitman maybe, and did you remember hearing about Washington?
Give me a Wikipedia, give me the dates, I'll tell you where I was at. Because I don't remember exactly what years he was at Washington State, because he's, so I don't know. I mean, but like, obviously, did I know about Coach Sampson from being? Yeah, for sure. I mean, come on, 100%. I mean, he's crushing it right now, and good for him.
Crushing it indeed are he and his Utes at 16-1 on the season. So those were the games on Monday night in the league. Kansas also beat Colorado 71-64. So the Buffs hung in that night in that game. There were a number of games last night in the Big 12 Conference, 3 to be exact. And taking a loss was number 9 Iowa State on the road at Oklahoma State. They stormed the court at Gallagher. Is it Gallagher-Iba Arena? They stormed the court after a 74-68 win by the Cowboys. Big game for Abu Osmani. 25 points, 6 rebounds, 4 steals for him, as Oklahoma State gets just their 6th win in conference play. Cincinnati beat Baylor 69-67. So Cincinnati's playing better basketball on the second half of this schedule after they got off to a little bit of a slow start. West Virginia took down TCU 73-55. Both those teams are 8-9 in conference play. So tonight there are 3 games. The one you'll have here, Utah versus number 22 Arizona. Up north in Tempe, it'll be 25th ranked BYU. So the Cougars, with their wins over Arizona and Kansas, jump back into the rankings at the 25th position at 10-6. They'll take on Arizona State tonight, 4-12 in conference play.
So, question: Arizona was picked to finish 5th in the preseason poll for this conference.
They were.
Is it successful season if they finish anywhere higher than that? Is in your mind, Kelvin, or is it championship or bust?
I mean, of course, it's your first year in the conference to get a chance to go through and check out all the different teams. Anything above where you're projected has to be a win.
I mean, you think about Houston, Texas Tech, and Iowa State, just those 3 teams and the way they've been playing. And come on, BYU the last 3 weeks especially, they've really put it together. Kansas, not exactly what people thought they might be, but there's a lot of tough outs in this league. So I think any fan out there who thinks if Arizona doesn't win the Big 12 in their first year, needless to say, DK, 20 out of 24 where Kansas is. The Big 12 was founded in the late 90s. Kansas won 20 out of the first 24. Houston's been in the league for 2 years. Guys, looking like this might be 2 for 2 for Houston after Kansas just dominated this league forever.
One other game tonight in the league, Kansas State is at Central Florida. Kansas State, since they've just been a seesaw. They won their first conference game, then they lost 6 in a row, then they won 6 in a row. Now they've lost 3 in a row again. So Kansas State back on the losing schneid after they had a sliver of success.
So you don't want to see them in the Big 12 conference then, right?
Right.
You don't want to see them.
Not at all. Not at all. Only one game involving 2 ranked teams tonight. It's in the Big 10. Michigan State, 17-15 right now early over number 16 Maryland. A lot of people, our folks over at BetMGM, one of the guys over there, he likes Maryland as a potential team to go to the Final Four. They play really good defense. Do the Maryland Terrapins. They're one of the better defensive teams in the country. A sleeper team potentially at plus 8,000, I think, right now, which is 80-1. So you'd get a lot of return on that investment if you went with the Maryland Terrapins.
That's the Colorado team from 10 years ago, guys. They're 16-1 at home and 3-6 on the road.
Yeah. The number 1 team in the country is also in action tonight. That would be Auburn, and they'll host Ole Miss tonight. Auburn 25-2. And 13-1 in the SEC. Let's pause and get you a station identification. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly. It's Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Wildcats and the Utah Utes tonight at McHale Center. Utah coming to town without their head coach, Craig Smith, who was fired on Monday. Tommy Lloyd and his team coming off a loss to BYU that included a late foul call that went against the Wildcats. Tommy Lloyd, if he talked to anyone at the league office about what happened at the end of the game Saturday.
I'm not going to share my discussion with the officials because I do have a lot of respect for the officials, and they are trying hard. I'll just, I'm going to stand by what I said is, I just, in a physical game, in a physical conference, I just, over the course of my entire life watching a lot of basketball games, you just don't see a lot of games end like that. And so I thought Trey played really good defense. I thought the guy stopped. I thought the guy turned his back. I thought the guy started pivoting and had no outlets to pass the ball to. And kind of a, desperate moment kind of threw up a little scoop shot. And, and there was obviously some contact on the lower body. And the ref made a decision. So you know what I'm living with it, and I'm moving on. And do I like it? No. But, I also learned this. You don't always get what you like in life. So as a competitor, I just got to move on. And I talked to who I needed to talk to, and they talked to me. Conversation was had, and, I think we're good.
League office, or did you have any conversation with anybody like that? Or
I'm not going to tell you specifically who I talked with, but I did talk to people, for sure, that are affiliated with our league, 100%.
I think Kelvin and I know how that conversation went. It went, how come this one at the 5-minute mark wasn't that foul, the exact same play, and how come this one was? It's just the idea of not like we were robbed. That's the way fans see the thing. Coaches don't see the game as we were robbed. Coaches see it as, let's get some consistency so I can teach my guys and guide them, Kelvin, to play within the purview of what the refs are going to call. That had to have been the conversation with the front office. It's just about the consistency of what is a foul and what is not a foul.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. If you would so like to call us or text us. Arizona women's basketball won their senior night finale at McHale Center last night over the Texas Tech Red Raiders. It was a 9th straight defeat for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who are struggling. Arizona has won 3 games in a row. They honored 2 seniors. Ajay Yokum was honored. She has not played at all since transferring from Florida International. And Isis Bay, who is having the season of her life as a senior here. She went 5 for 8 in the ball game in 37 minutes, finishing with a game-high 15 points. Let's hear from Isis and Adia after the ball game on Isis Bay's return and how she has come into her role as a leader on this team.
It's been challenging, finding different ways to talk to different people. Like Adia and Anthony be on me a lot, like trying to help me learn different communication styles for different teammates and what they need from me. And so it's been challenging, but it's been fun.
And we came to the conclusion this year that Isis doesn't ever want to coach because she sees what coaches go through and she's like, I can't even do that. I'm like, well, welcome to my world every day. So it is, I think that's what coaching is. You have to learn how to talk to people different. I can't coach you the same way I coach, it's someone else. It's just kind of, it's the way it is, and that's hard. And so I think that's with leadership and communication, but she's earned that right. And we always say pressure and leadership is a privilege, and it's hard to be a leader. And so I think she's done a really good job of that, and she's really touched people and helped people in different ways.
Could you express just how this season has meant to you, the decision to come back, to be able to have such an important role and to really step your game to this next level during conference play and to have tonight here at McHale?
When I made the decision to come back, Coach Chris, who just left us, he made sure I understood that me coming back, I have to come back for a reason. So he was working with me a lot in the off season just to get my body right, change lifestyle choices and stuff like that. So I really wanted to give my best effort this year and do all I can for the team. So I feel like I've been really focused on that.
And when she said Coach Chris, she's talking about the strength coach for the Arizona Women's basketball team, Chris Allen. Shout out to Chris. He is no longer with the program because he got a job with the New York Giants, working in their strength and conditioning department. You'll remember Chris worked for a number of years as the lead strength guy for the Wildcats on the football side when Rich Rodriguez was the head coach here. He left and went to work with a number of schools after that, came back because Adia had always wanted him to be her strength and conditioning guy. And now he's moved on to an opportunity that he has dreamt about, to have an opportunity to work in the National Football League. So congratulations to Chris. Good guy. Really good guy.
Yeah.
If you're a strength and conditioning coach, Kelvin, is there a better job than in the NFL?
Oh, no. Nothing pays like that. Nothing pays like that.
Not at all. All right, Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Coming up next, we'll go courtside and chat with the sports editor of the Daily Wildcat, Melissa Guzeloglu. I'll say that 5 times fast at some point. We'll get her thoughts on Arizona basketball and a whole lot more. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Now that winter is really here, cooler overnight temperatures mean that your tire pressure warning light could be on. In most cases, you solve the problem by simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. As always, you can stop by any of our 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Check out jackfurriers.com. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
My heat and air work in a state of disrepair.
It's cold outside and you need safe, reliable heat for you and your family. For a limited time, Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is offering a free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying HVAC split system. For fast, reliable service, call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Our Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Bradley down to the right corner, drives baseline underneath, kick it high, Del Orso. His three is up and good. Anthony Del Orso on fire here in the second half. And the Wildcats back in front, 58-56. Catch and shoot.
It's time now for us to take you down to front row of the arena. A view from the courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
All right, I started out in this business as a student covering athletics over at my alma mater, the University of Southern California. So we always like to try to check in with the young folks of today at the University of Arizona who are covering their athletic programs. Pleased to be joined right now by Melissa Guzuoglu. Did I say that right, Melissa?
How are you?
Did I say that right, Melissa?
Yes, you did. It's Turkish.
Ah, there we go. Melissa Guzuoglu is the current sports editor over at the Daily Wildcats. She covers Arizona basketball. And first of all, Melissa, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and how you got involved in student media at the university.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. And I'm from Brooklyn, and I originally went to a community college, but I quickly realized that biology wasn't for me, and I wanted to write and do something I enjoyed and was good at. So I decided I wanted to write for a D1 college and ultimately chose Arizona and quickly put my foot in the door at the Daily Wildcat and told the current sports editor, how do I get to where you are? And I basically did that.
So now you grew up in Brooklyn, so I would imagine a big New York sports fan. Which teams do you follow there?
I do. I love the Knicks. I love the Nets. However, when I do follow the NBA, I was a Dallas Mavericks fan. Was a Yes.
Dallas Maverick up until about what, 2 weeks ago?
Up until about February 14th, 15th, yes, that was an upsetting day for sure.
That, of course, is because, Luka Doncic has moved on to the Los Angeles Lakers. In our last segment, we were just talking a little bit about last night's game. Did you watch it?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed the triple-double he dropped on the Mavericks. And, I don't know if I can be a Laker fan, but I'm definitely a Luka fan. Like Dirk said, my loyalty lies with him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So now you said that you wanted to go, obviously, and cover Division I sports. So what schools did you look at? How did Arizona come into play when you were looking at schools and decided, okay, that's the one I want to go to try to pursue my dreams of sports media?
Yeah, so looking into basketball, I want to put my foot in the door in the NBA, ESPN, maybe work in sports in that area. And I wanted to see where the most NBA players came from. So schools like Gonzaga, UNC, Duke, I looked at all of them, but Arizona was the first to accept me, and I chose them because it felt right, and I don't regret my decision, and I'm obviously here for a reason.
Okay, so then you've been here. This is how many years now for you here in Tucson?
So I transferred here. This would be my second year here in Tucson.
So second year, and you're already the sports editor. So whatever that advice that other sports editor gave you pretty much took that to heart.
Yes, definitely. I wanted to be lead men's basketball reporter, and I did that within the first 3 months. And I think that they liked how I wrote. And I don't know, I can't do anything without the team behind me, without my copy chiefs. But I constantly learn every day being on that paper. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity.
That is awesome. Melissa Guzuoglu is the sports editor at the Daily Wildcat. She joins us for your view from courtside. It is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. All right, so Melissa, give me your breakdown of the Arizona Wildcats. What you've seen, what you like, what you don't like, what you think they need to do better. Roll it out to me. What's your breakdown?
Right. So coming off of winning our Pac-12 tournament and championship last year and then opening 4-5 this year, it was pretty upsetting. But then we went on that 7-game win streak, and I have hopes that they could still make a run. It was disappointing, dropping from number 19 in the AP poll rankings to number 22 and allowing BYU to creep into that number 25 spot. But I have faith in the team. I think Tommy Lloyd is really exploiting the big man lineup using Tobe Awaka and Henry Visar. So we'll see if he continues to use that. But they need defense on the perimeter is my overall synopsis of it and analysis. What do you think?
Well, they've been pretty good defensively on the perimeter as of late. Now, it did get away from them in the game on Saturday night against BYU, but I think overall they've been one of the better teams in the conference in terms of that. I mean, there's going to be teams like BYU that can shoot threes, and they're going to have good nights. And I think you're going to come up against that. We talked about it earlier in the show. I mean, you're 43-2 when you score more than 90 points. So you had enough points to win, and you're going to win 96% of those games. Saturday night was that one game that's going to come along every 20 or so that you're going to find a team that shoots like that. So that may happen on occasion. For sure. So we got 3 games left in this regular season. What do you think they need to shore up heading into Kansas City here in about a week and a half?
Well, I think that they have to be ready to face them on the road, but we have seen Kansas also collapse in the past few games. I do think that they're taking that to heart and trying to get ready for Arizona. But with us right now moving through, they're going to have to be better offensively. We haven't been a good three-point shooting team for our history, but if they want to be able to match Kansas and also be good on defense, then they have to be able to shoot and allow themselves to make that room.
Yeah, I don't think that was one of the things that I said on the last show. It's like, I don't know that this team, they're going to have to shoot three-pointers at some point, I think, in the tournament to be able to win some of these big ball games. Are they going to be able to do that? So it was refreshing to see them make the 14 that they made on Saturday night. Now, can they continue to be consistent in that respect, making, I think, between 7 to 11, somewhere in that neighborhood, every game out. Now, Melissa, what other sports have you covered beside men's basketball?
So being a sports editor, I get to cover every single sport at Arizona, anything from tennis, hockey, baseball, softball, gymnastics, really everything. I enjoy it all.
So now, what's your philosophy on how you run your department? What do you tell your younger reporters about how you want them to cover these teams?
Well, I want them to first of all know that we're a team and I'm here for them and we're going to protect them when we put out their articles. And I want them to be comfortable because what we do is supposed to be fun and we're just supposed to rely on these reporters to share what happened, the recaps, the previews for people who can't catch the games. I tell them, don't put too much pressure on yourselves, break down the game, look at the stats, look at the history, and just deliver.
There you go. That's all. That's some good advice.
Yeah, I wanted as a former player from back in the day. I'm not going to tell you when, but as a former player from back in the day, I can totally appreciate that because I remember during our time they kind of used to go against us a little bit. So to hear that you try to be on more the positive side with the athletes is great to hear.
Is there a story that you've gotten a chance to tell this year that's kind of really been one of your favorites, Melissa?
Yes. When Bryce James committed to Arizona, I was so happy to break that news and get it out. It was a pretty big deal for the school all around.
There you go. Outstanding. Melissa Guzel-Oglu is our guest. She is the sports editor of the Daily Wildcat here at the University of Arizona. It is your view from courtside. It is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Now, I'm going to give you a piece of advice, Melissa. There are going to be people in this business that are probably going to want you to change your name to something that's a lot easier for people to say. But don't do it. Don't do it. Don't resist that temptation. I remember I had a young man that worked under me at one of my first jobs when I got into a leadership position, and I had an assistant. And the assistant asked him to change his name, and he walked in and said he wants me to change my name. And I walked into the office and to the other office, and I said, no, he does not have to change his name. If he wants to use his real name, he should be allowed to use it. We're going to allow him to use his real name. So don't let anybody take your identity away from you, unless you want. That's your choice. If you want to change your name, that should always be your choice. But don't let anybody tell you that you have to change your name.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And no, I'm very proud of my name. I'm proud to hold this, but I do have a handle on Instagram, which is easier to remember.
Okay,
it's
what is
at
that?
NBA Bombshell.
At NBA Bombshell. I like that. How'd you come up with that one?
Well, I consider myself a bombshell, and I love the NBA, so I just put the two together.
All right, so we know Luka is one of your favorite players. Give me Melissa's top 5. Your starting 5.
Okay, my starting
In the
5.
NBA.
Oy, the dreaded question. Well, I would have to go Luka Doncic, LeBron. I love Jason Tatum right now. I don't mind him at all.
Okay.
Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
And do you guys want vintage players, or are we talking modern?
Your 5, your choice. This is your team.
Okay, so I'm a little more modern right now, and I'm speaking like in that way specifically.
Yeah.
So let's see, and I'm gonna go Paolo Banchero. I love Paolo Banchero.
Oh, J-Dub is a big Paolo Banchero fan.
Great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good 5. I like that 5. Right.
Well,
there.
yeah, thank you.
So you have then 2 years left to go?
Well, this is technically my senior year, but
Okay.
being a transfer student, I still have an extra semester left. So, yeah, I should be done hopefully next year.
How much do you guys get to travel?
For the Daily Wildcat,
Yes.
we don't really get to travel with the team, but we do have a chance to go travel with them for March Madness.
Okay, so you will be going to at least the NCAA tournament. Are they going to let you guys go to Kansas City for the Big 12s?
They better. I'll find a way.
Okay, I'm going to give you another piece of advice, Melissa.
Okay. Yes, please.
So, because I think you were at the press conference last night, if I'm not mistaken.
I always am.
Were you at the women's basketball press conference?
Yes, I was.
Okay, I think you were sitting next to me at the press conference.
Oh, my God. Oh, we should have said hi.
Don't ever go into another press conference and not ask a question. Always
problem.
come into every press conference prepared to ask at least one question.
No problem. I was with my reporter for that game, so I was just accompanying him.
Okay.
And then I did have to film a post-game podcast with Erica Day. So, yeah.
There you
but
go.
don't worry. I will have 5 questions ready next time.
There you go. Always be involved in the process. That's the best way to learn. And there's never a stupid question. Every question is perfectly okay to be asked because it's what you see and it's your angle and it's your vantage point. So you should ask any question that comes from how you see the game or how you view the game. So don't ever be afraid to ask a question.
I'm so grateful for your advice. Sincerely, thank you.
Outstanding. What are the any summer internship plans?
Well, I did apply actually for the Golden State Warriors internship. We'll see. But I am pretty busy with the Daily Wildcat and over the summer. Other than that, when I go back to New York, we'll see.
Do they publish over the summertime?
For stories, we'll see. I mean, we'll probably be doing season schedule previews and stuff like with the transfer portal, all those.
Outstanding. Well, Melissa, continued success. And we look forward to seeing you at press conferences over the next year or so to come.
You as well. Hopefully tonight against the Utah game.
Well, we have a show after that, so you won't see us there.
How upsetting. That's okay.
But you can we do 2 more hours of this after the ball game, dissecting everything that happened. But yeah, it's a long day. It's a long day when you get onto this side of it as well. But enjoy every opportunity that you have to cover sports in college. It's how I got my start, and there's nothing more fun than being there when you're scoring. And I didn't have a very good basketball team to report on. You are very count yourself lucky that you have a very good basketball team.
I am very lucky. I am very lucky.
There you go. Melissa Guzaloglu. She is the sports editor of the Daily Wildcat, and that is your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of our pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Our beautiful Arizona winter weather brings cooler overnight temperatures, which means some of you are now seeing your vehicle's low pressure warning light. Colder overnight temperatures can lower your tire's pressure just enough to trigger a warning light. But don't worry, many times the solution is simply adding the correct amount of air to your tires. Then get back to enjoying the fantastic winter weather. If adding the air doesn't do the trick, stop by any of our 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with the low pressure warning light, we fix those too. Mention this radio offer for free installation with the purchase of any new tire pressure sensor. We'll install it in your wheel and rebalance your tires absolutely free. You'll find even more specials to get your car road trip ready at jackfurriers.com. So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just drop by. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
He'll feed it high for Love. Caleb working down, angle right, jumping up for 3 from there and drain it. Caleb Love with his third Lexus of Tucson Charity 3, and the Wildcats back in front.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Final hour of our show. This is the all name pregame show. We just chatted with Melissa Guzel-Oglu from the Daily Wildcat. Coming up, we're going to chat with JT Wistrasel from Locked On Utes. So all the hard names. We just left them for tonight's game. Pest of the game is straight ahead. Who will be that member of the Utes that will get underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? That is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Best bets. This is how it looks on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino. Danny is anxiously awaiting whether or not we're going to take Arizona and lay that 15 points tonight. Over under at 149.5. Keys to the game, starting lineups, all of that is still straight ahead. Arizona and Utah playing in their third conference together. As we mentioned earlier in the show, the WAC and the Pac-12 and the Big 12. That's pretty impressive. 3 conferences that these two teams have hooked it up in together. Tommy Lloyd is facing a Utes team that comes in here without their head coach. Craig Smith was fired on Monday in his 4th season, and it'll be Josh Eilert who will be the interim head coach. If that name sounds familiar, that's because Josh Eilert was the interim head coach last year at West Virginia after Bobby Huggins was removed as head coach of that program, a program that obviously included Kirk Grisa, the former Arizona Wildcats point guard. Tommy Lloyd was asked this week if he had ever been in this situation where he was playing a team coming off their head coach getting fired.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I feel for them, and I feel for the players. I feel for the coach. I feel for his family. I'm not an administrator. I don't know why it makes sense to make a move in season. I mean, to me, this is like, what is that saying to the kids? What is that saying to your fan base? What is that saying to the coaching staff? But again, people make decisions for whatever reason, and I don't need to be like wasting my energy speculating on why or whatever they're doing. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to approach it as business as usual, and we're going to tend to the business of Arizona basketball, and Utah's our next opponent, and they're going to be our next opponent no matter who the coach is.
That said, do you feel like if you're going to fire a coach, do you maybe fire him before a big game at a place like Arizona, or maybe?
I don't know how that makes sense to me. I mean, listen, whatever you can rationalize that however you want. Craig Smith's a good man. I know that, and he's a good coach. Maybe it hasn't went exactly how they all had hoped. But again, I don't know the ins and outs. And I'm not going to guess to know the ins and outs. So we're it's business as usual for us, but it's there's another side where it's unfortunate for some others. And
I'm sorry. How does that affect scouting this game? Do you just go with what they've been doing, or do you even look at maybe West Virginia tapes to see what last year with them?
I don't think they've had a lot of time to react. I mean, I'm assuming it just happened yesterday. I'm assuming they might have taken the day off coming back from Central Florida. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they practice. Maybe they've put in, an entire new offense and entire new defense in 24 hours. And if they did, good for them. I mean, so it's business as usual for us, and we're preparing like we normally would have prepared, had this unfortunate thing not happen.
I don't know if this is transitive property, but the Utes are a very good home team and a not-so-good road team. They have won 1 game out of 8 away from home this season. They score 80 points at home, 63 points on the road. Their scoring margin is a 27-point flip from home to road. You get the picture. Their rebounding margin is a 10-rebound margin flip, +8 to -1 from home to away. They've just struggled mightily when they leave Salt Lake City.
Do you want to answer?
Yeah.
No, that's just data. Transitive property would be Utah is 1-7 on the road this year. Utah will never win another road game ever. That's transitive property.
There we go.
No correlation between those two things. Just because they're not winning this season does not mean that they could never win on the road.
What does Tommy Lloyd see in these Utah Utes?
Utah is a good team. They have incredible size and length. I think I don't know if would this be analytically or this be statistically or measurement wise, they're the third longest, tallest team in the country. So they have obviously great size and they have positional length. They're sound defensively. They're not doing anything crazy. They're really kind of packing it in and making you play over size and length consistently. Offensively. This Madsen kid's been around for a minute, and he just is an incredible high-energy player and, can shoot, high degree of difficulty shots and get hot and make some of them. And so he's hard to guard, and they do a good job playing in their concepts, kind of, what we would call like kind of some delay actions and, where they're kind of getting some 5-out and some flare screens, pin downs. And just do a really good job kind of flowing and playing good basketball. So, they're obviously a dangerous team. And, their records, I think pretty close to 500 in the Big 12, right? So they're right in the mix.
And they are a team that can pass the basketball. Assists per game, they are number 1 right now. You might have thought U of A was number 1. This is the number 1 assist team in the Big 12 at the moment. They average 18 assists per ball game. That is 7th best in the nation. What does that correlate to, if anything, Tommy Lloyd?
When you're assisting on a high number of your baskets, it probably means you're a good passing team and you're moving the ball. And the way you generate offense is probably more tilted towards, ball movement and passing as opposed to dribbling and isolations.
Yeah. So again, it's our guy Fred Scheib, who checks in as he always does from New Jersey, where it is currently 7:40. He asked the question, is this a trap game? I don't think I would categorize it as a trap game, because I think if Arizona had not lost 3 of the last 4 games, then I might call this a trap game. But when you've lost 3 of the last 4 games, you don't want to be losing 4 out of 5, so that there should be no reason to be trapped by the Utah Utes tonight here in Tucson.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it's a trap game. But what I do think it is an inspiration game, right? These guys are going to be inspired to fight for their coach, the guy that gave them the scholarships to come to Utah. So they might be a little inspired to try to come in and, and win for their coach. I mean, I thought it was an odd firing as well. I'm going to speak on that because they just beat Kansas and Kansas State.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey,
and they beat BYU earlier.
Right. And let's fire him before you beat Arizona. And we can't fire him. Exactly. Right. Trust me. I know what's going on there. Let's get rid of him before he actually do something. What if he go and make a run in the tournament?
Yeah.
You can tell they wanted him out of there.
Yeah.
They wanted him out of there. So the first loss that he was going to take after he beat Kansas, they probably was going to fire him after the Kansas game, but that didn't work. Then the Kansas State game didn't work, right? So they finally got him. But, coming off those 2 wins, it definitely was fishy to me.
The way I look at it is unless there's a video that leaks of a coach throwing a chair at a player in a practice, most coaches get fired based on performance. When the coach gets fired midseason, how do all the players in that roster, Kelvin, not look a little bit deeper inside and ask themselves if they could give a little bit more, right? Because 4 years, that Coach Smith's obviously been there for a while. Every player on that roster, you talk about circling the wagons, obviously they can't play for him because he's no longer on the sidelines. But proving that this team is good enough to win tough games is a way to honor their coach who just got let go.
And I will say, usually it goes the other way.
Yeah.
Usually it goes right to the dump. They end up getting beat by 30. That's the reason why they're, predicted to lose by 16 today. It's because their coach, if their coach was there, I could not see them saying 16, maybe 10, but not 16.
And I would worry a lot more if there were 5 ISO guys who are all looking to get their zone up because they're trying to impress scouts. They're trying to just call their own number. But a team, Kelvin, that comes in averaging 18 assists per game, that's the scarier part of that equation where, in general, those players, they get super selfish, right? And I'm just going to do my own thing. Well, this team doesn't do that. This team looks for each other.
All right, let's find out who on this team, known as the Utah Utes, will be that Ute that gets underneath Arizona's skin tonight.
Who is today's best of the game?
1 second. Got it at the buzzer.
The best of the game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
Who is going to be that pest of the game tonight that really makes the Arizona Wildcats sweat? A lot of good choices on this team. Kelvin, who do you like?
I got to go with Gabe Madsen, the veteran, the godfather of the team. But no, Gabe Madsen, man, because he's the one guy that's the ball handler on this team. As they said, they are a high passing assist team. To me, you get up in these guys and you deny them and make it tough for them.
Gabe Madsen, also the leading scorer on this team. J.W. Madden, who do you like as the pass?
All of them.
All of them.
I mean, again, like talking about circling the wagons, but if I had to pick one, I'll go with his brother, Mason, because, another senior guard. He's a dude who comes off the bench, gets a lot of assists, can knock down an open shot. So when I say all of them, I say that usually tongue-in-cheek, but in a game like this, when you got a 16-point spread, coach just got fired last week, anything goes. I mean, this is one of those Wild West kind of games where we don't even know. Coach joked about them putting in a new offense in 2 days, Kelvin, but they cannot do that. That's not humanly possible. No. But as far as throwing wrinkles that Utah Utes have not shown all season long, whatever tendencies they want to roll with, tonight's the kind of game where you just expect the unexpected because we don't really know what they're going to look like tonight.
All right. Well, I guess I'll stay since I, at the top of this segment, was calling this the all-name show. I'm going to go with Sharavajamps.
I love it.
Mike Sharavajamps. He is the junior guard out of Mongolia. This is his third school. Started his career at Dayton. Then he went to San Francisco. And now he is at Utah.
You want to take a shot at his birthplace? There's a lot of A's in there.
A lot of A's.
It's
Cameroon?
A's.
ULAANBAATAR.
Oh, no, can't do that.
5 A's.
He's like, can't do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharma Rava jumps. I like that right there. I'll go with him as my pest of the game. That's who we think will get underneath the Wildcat skin.
Amazing stuff. That's today's Best of the Game. The Best of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right, we'll find out more about these guys straight ahead. Well, actually, let's get our best bets in real quick. Why don't we do that before we do that?
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets.
For the championship.
Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, Arizona minus 15. Woo, man. Outside of the directional schools at the beginning of the year, I can't remember the last time we had a line that large. Minus 15. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'll go first.
J-Dub's winning, so we'll let him go first.
I think that if the coach was fired in a vacuum and that was the only storyline, then I could see Utah maybe playing inspired basketball. But what we're talking about here, guys, is Arizona coming off a tight loss at home with only 4 games left, and they may not have a chance to win the conference unless Houston loses out, which is very unlikely. But, Kelvin, they do have a chance to get as good as possible and as connected as possible before the Big 12 tournament and before March Madness. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the second to last home game this has to be the game where they really ball out and play crazy. So I imagine the defensive intensity to be off the charts. I imagine their connectivity offensively. So I could see them winning this game by 20 or more.
All right, so J-Dub is taking the Wildcats and laying the 15 points. I'm going to take those points. I just that's a lot. That's a lot in a conference game with a team coming in here that's going to be emotional. I just think that it's going to be a lot closer than that. So I'll take Utah on the 15.
Well, my reason is for not taking it is because of it. Not because of how Utah is going to play. I believe that coach is going to end up resting these guys once they get up on these guys. Once they get up on them, I think this is the part of the year where more playing time not isn't going to necessarily make you better, right? It's that you need that rest. So hopefully they jump on these guys and give some of those guys, some of the Jaden Bradleys and the Loves, a little bit of a break right at the end there.
All right, 149.5. I'll go over.
Definitely over.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what Utah averages on the year. They average
60 on the road, so
75 a game. So yeah, I'll say over.
Okay, so everybody's taking the over. J-Dub's laying the points in U of A. Kelvin and I are taking the Utes plus the 15. That's how it looks on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook.
Those are today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Much more coming up for you straight ahead. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We'll find out a little bit more about these Utes as JT Wistersill will join us. He is locked on the Utes, and he'll talk all about Utah basketball. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Diamond for three, rattles in and out, no good. Long rebound, tipped out, got by Bradley. On the run, Jaden into the lane, lay it up and good! Oh, Jaden Bradley, a nice floater in the lane.
Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Getting you set for the Wildcats and the Utah Utes tonight here at McHale Center. Let's dive into what's happening with our former brothers from the Pac-12, now current brothers in the Big 12, and a lot is happening as their head coach of 4 seasons, Craig Smith, was relieved of his duties earlier this week. Pleased to be joined by JT Wistracel. He talks all about the Utah Utes. He is locked on the Utes. And did you expect this, JT, coming this week?
No, that's the biggest thing. End of the season, yes. This week, 2 weeks removed from, not even 2 weeks removed, not even 2 weeks removed from beating Kansas and Kansas State, big wins at home. I'm shocked that this is how things played out.
So now you just said that you did anticipate that this might be the end of the road for Craig Smith. 4th season, obviously an NCAA tournament was not going to be in the picture for 4 consecutive years, and that's tough, even though he had such a great run over at Utah State before getting to Salt Lake City. What was kind of the feeling that this was not likely going to be working out long term?
Not making the NCAA tournament last year was a massive disappointment for this team. And I still think that massive disappointment and failure, not making the NCAA tournament, is what led to Craig Smith being dismissed and not given the chance to finish out this season, because he was picked to finish 16th in the Big 12. He has his team at 10th right now. So why all of a sudden is he not given that chance to finish out? I think because they didn't want to give him the chance to build a little extra momentum. They were looking for one loss, it felt like, after that big win against Kansas, which is easily one of the best wins Utah's had in years. I know that Kansas has stumbled a little bit as of late, but that's still to knock off a blue blood when you're a school like Utah that doesn't have at least a recent tradition of going to the NCAA tournament. That was a huge win. So this really spoke to the team and the athletic department wanting to move in a different direction. They did not feel like Craig Smith had this basketball program trending upwards. And I think some of that is fair. Craig Smith made some recruiting mistakes. You also mentioned his success he had at Utah State, though. And that, to me, speaks to why this is also a Utah basketball program, a problem they have as a program. I know for a fact they've been outbid on certain players when it comes to NIL. And it's just also a team that has struggled over the past little stretch here. So they decided they need to make a change. I do think this is a couple coaches now we've seen Utah have to cycle through. So they have to change some things in the program. They're hoping the revenue sharing will aid in that. But yeah, it's a crazy timing, and I'm very curious and not super optimistic for Utah's chances tonight in Tucson.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, JT, how much do you think, and obviously we all play scenarios, how much is the recent surge of BYU involved with this? And obviously, Kevin Young comes in. He's got that team rolling right now. He's got the number 1 recruit in the country. Do you think that piece played into this as well? It's like, look, we gotta keep up with our brothers because they are about to maybe potentially walk away from us in this whole thing.
Potentially, yes. You know what? You're right. It did. I just think this is where the fact that has played a role in this, I think, is a mistake by Utah. BYU is landing A.J. Dumbonsa next year. That's the number one player in the country, and reports they paid somewhere between $5 and $7 million in NIL. Utah is not going to be able to keep up with the Cougars if that is what they're offering in the NIL era. So I know there's some frustrations, but also say this, they just beat BYU earlier in the regular season. So that's where I do feel like they're frustrated. They want to be a contender. They're still chasing the 90s where this team was able to make it to a Final Four even, but that was back when they were in the WAC. It's a lot harder to do it in the Big 12. So I'm very curious what they're going to do. There's a lot of rumors they want to make an alumni hire, but I do definitely think the fact that BYU is trying, and at least right now they're surging, and I do think by next year they have a great chance to be a top 15 team in the country, and Utah was not heading in that direction. So anytime your rival is doing well, as I'm sure you guys could attest to as well at various sports, then that's going to lead to some frustrations. I do know for a fact that one of the reasons that Craig Smith that was moved on from at this time point was his relationship with certain boosters had deteriorated. So that's where also this played into a part and a role. And those boosters, what do they want to do? They want to be at the level of a BYU. So that is absolutely a part of this.
JT Wistracell is our guest. It is your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. Here to get you there. And the other piece, and I'm wondering, obviously, both of us, Utah and Arizona, making this new transition to the Big 12, and both coming off football seasons that did not go as planned. And when you look, obviously, this has always been a basketball school, so we've kind of been able to fall back on the success of that. But from the Utah standpoint, football doesn't have a good season. Now basketball doesn't have a good season. And you talk about NIL, and now your top two men's sports are not where you want them to be, trying to get that whole piece together.
Yeah, that's a great point. I feel better about the football team's chances moving forward than I do the basketball. That's not even just a Kyle Whittingham thing. That's more of just Utah had such a bad quarterback issue, banking on the health of Cam Rising, that I feel like they're starting to figure their things out, and I do expect them to have a bounce back season, especially when you look at how many one-score games they fell in. But for basketball, like we mentioned, sure, maybe you make the right hire and it's an alumni type of player, there's a lot of rumors that it's going to be someone from those 90s teams, and Andre Miller and Alex Jensen, guys who are being thrown around who had success here. So maybe the NIL is a little bit better, but Utah is not a team that just has insane amounts to throw around of cash that they're going to land some transformative roster to me either. So I am very much so concerned about what could end up happening in this process for Utah, because it just feels like the basketball program is going to be in for another long year. They're hanging around in the top 10 of the conference. I'm very worried that they will be a Colorado and Oklahoma State next year too, who is towards the bottom. And I do not think tonight is going to be a night where this team has hope. I mean, they are 1-7 on the road this season, and I'm sure we'll talk more about the game in a moment. There are some numbers what Utah's done against the top 25 teams in the Big 12 when they've played in their building, and it's not good.
Chatting with JT Wistracell. He is locked on the Utes, kind of shifting to this year's team, and obviously familiar faces in Gabe Madsen and Lawson Lovering, who were on this squad last year. How has Gabe's game improved from last year to this year?
I think Gabe has, well, in some ways, I'll just say this. They have given him an even greener light because of some of the offensive struggles. Last year, you had Brandon Carlson. You had Davon Smith, who's now at St. John's, not having a ton of success there. But Madsen's now like the guy on this offense. And yes, Ezra Sars is doing some things, but Gabe has the ultimate green light. I mean, you look at him a couple games ago, he shot 22 threes against in a game against in a recent game, and then against Kansas, but he can't get going against Kansas. 24 points with 5 made threes, so he's someone that can get it going. But I do think the biggest thing has just been the volume. He's still more of a shooter. He's going to look to get those shots off in stereotypical ways. Utah's going to run him around all different types of screens and actions to try and get him the open shots. He's still not the most effective when it comes to driving the basketball, so it's just going to be how many different ways can he pull up for a shot. He's a willing mid-range shooter, but he's going to try and take those threes, hence the 22 attempts. You mentioned Lawson Lovering too. Lawson's a fascinating case study because he's a guy who one game can be really effective, I feel like, and then the next it was like, oh yeah, I forgot Lawson Lovering played tonight. And he's also had some real struggles at the free throw line. So that's where I'm also curious to see. And you can't play if you're not going to make those types of free throws late in these games. So curious to see how both those guys perform tonight. But, yeah, Madsen is definitely the guy I feel like the Arizona will be keying in on. Although Ezra Ausar is a name to watch for, the East Carolina transfer, back-to-back 20-point games, really plays with good energy. I feel like if this Utah team is going to come with a fight tonight, Ausar is going to be leading that.
Chatting with JT Wistracel. It is your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960, here to get you there. JT, I think one of the things, though, that stands out about this team, and we like to think the Wildcats are a team that really knows how to move the basketball, but it's just that. 483 assists this year for the Utah Utes. So it looks like, I mean, at least at the offensive end, ball movement has not necessarily been an issue. They assist on a lot of made baskets.
Yeah, there's not a selfish guy on this team, even though Gabe Madsen has the green light. And yes, I mentioned the 22-3 game. To me, he is not someone who, like, every single night is going to throw up that many shots. If he doesn't have it on a night, he will pass it and move the ball more, too. So that's something that is encouraging. You mentioned Utah's volume and assists. I mean, Miro Little leads the team in averaging 3 a game, but there's no one above that. So it does just speak to, hey, you do have a collection of players, I feel like, that this Utah team has overperformed because they play the right way. The chemistry has come together, I think, quicker than people thought. And I thought they were a well-coached team. Did they have issues? Yeah, but that's once again where it's like I really thought Craig Smith deserved the right to finish out this season. So, yeah, this is a team that is going to move the ball, and you see multiple guys that can shoot and knock down shots if open. I will say that's more so a Gabe Madsen, a Mason Madsen, and then probably a Jake Wallin or your Hunter Erickson, I'll mention in there too, is another guy. You really got 4 good shooters, I'd say. And then the rest are like, okay, maybe they could have a night. So, yeah, there's not a selfish team. Definitely not an incredible passer on this roster, but a group that's willing to share the ball. And I think that's what's led to the assist numbers.
We obviously just saw BYU twice. Keba Keita now on that roster. How big of a loss was that for Utah?
That was a big loss, when you see what Keba's able to do. The athleticism he has. There's only so many players that I feel like possess that potential. He was a big get for this Utah team as a recruit. And when you lose him, it hurts. When you lose him to your rival, it hurts even more. So that was a massive loss this team suffered. Utah actually lost one of their lead assistants, Chris Burgess, left. And he originally came from BYU to Utah. And he went back to the Cougars. So there was a couple of losses they had to BYU. And, yeah, that BYU team is surging right now. But Keba, yeah, he was a huge loss. I mean, the athleticism I mentioned, the rim protection that he can offer. He's playing volleyball out there some nights. He is just incredible. His ability on the glass, too, to grab those boards. I'm impressed with BYU. And because Utah got BYU at their place, that's another game that I'm very concerned about at the end of the season. Utah's going to have to go to Provo, a short road trip, but one that I know the Cougars are very much looking forward to. And I'm really curious to see what this Utah team looks like. Tonight's our first look at it of like, okay, the coach moved on. Is this team going to stay together? Are the assist numbers going to be what they normally are? Or does this turn into, I want to enter the portal and get mine, boost my numbers, boost my averages, have a couple big performances? Do we see a couple of guys try to do that? I don't know. And tonight's the night we find out, and it comes against a really good Arizona team. This is a Utah team that averages 75 points per game, which is 8th in the conference. But against the top 25 teams on the road, that number plummets to 50.
Wow. It'll be interesting. Arizona and Utah coming up. Tip-off 7 o'clock at the McHale Center. JT, let folks know how they can find your work.
Guys can head over, find me on X at JT Wistracel. You can also find me at Locked On Utes on X, and the show Locked On Utes Monday through Friday, talking all things Utah athletics, which is very much heavy coaching search right now with the unexpected news earlier this week. But great being on with you. Thank you again for the opportunity.
All right, real quick, who's going to be the quarterback next year?
Devin Dampier, only quarterback in the country last year to run for 1,000 yards and pass for 2,500 yards. I think Utah's going to have a bounce back, but I do talk about them 5 days a week, so take it with a grain of salt.
There you go. Well, we saw Devin last year here when New Mexico came to town. Definitely a pretty good talent that you guys have been able to get over there to lead that program. JT, appreciate you taking some time. Continued success with all that you're doing with Locked On the Utah and your play-by-play work down in North Carolina.
Thank you so much, David. Really appreciate it.
JT Wistracel, and that is your scouting report.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Inside the three-point line to Bradley. Back to Awaka. He's open for three. He'll shoot it. He'll score it. Tobe Awaka, his second made three of the season.
Tobe Awaka made a three early. Anthony Del Orso made a bunch of threes in the second half. He was 3 for 5 from behind the arc on Saturday night. It hit 3 in a row, like literally within about a minute or so to get the crowd pumping at McHale Center on Saturday night. Anthony Del Orso, what did Tommy Lloyd like about that flurry of threes by Delly in the second half?
Delly, yeah, it was great. He was hunting shots. He's a really good shooter. When he hunts shots, it makes us a better offensive team. So I'm excited for his progress the last 3 games, and hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, he was hunting those shots right there. So should he, Tommy, be looking to hunt those shots more often?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to tell Delly, can you make 3 catch-and-shoot threes in 3 minutes, like, more consistently? I mean, of course we want that. But listen, I'm joking. Delly's doing a great job. He's trending in the right direction. I think he's kind of figuring out what he needs to do for our team and what he needs to do at this level to be successful. And hopefully we continue to get more of that because he's an important player for us.
Well, he went through that stretch, I believe it was 5 games where he did not make a 3-point shot. He was 0 for 10. The good news, he is 5 for his last 12. So trending back in the right direction for Anthony Del Orso over the course of the last 3 games against Houston, Baylor, and BYU. Now the correlation is the Wildcats have lost 2 of those 3 games. So I don't know if can we pick anything apart from that?
We're not a great shooting team, so we got to take care of the ball. I mean, we had some crazy ones. Our guys got to be better. They got to be better. Something we preach every single day. They got to be better taking care of the ball to a man.
And that was Tommy Lloyd talking about the turnovers, which, of course, I've talked about all season. Get underneath my skin, just the way that they turn those balls over. But, Kelvin, going back to Delly, starting to get hot again, found his shot in rhythm in that second half. You're going to need that from him.
Yeah, you're going to need him more than anything. That threat is going to open up the court, make things easier for some of the other guys. And heck, we need some shots. We need some made shots, man. I mean, and so I think Coach getting him confident and him knocking down some shots and gaining confidence in himself, and for his teammates also to see the ball to go through the rim, they're gaining confidence for him is going to be much needed going down the stretch run.
Anthony Del Orso so far on the season is averaging for the Wildcats now. In terms of his 3-point shooting, it is back up a tick, 42% after he's gotten hot the last 3 games. They kind of fallen down closer to 40, but it is still the best 3-point shooting percentage on the team at 42 this season. Let's see, he's taken 95 now, so getting up close to that 100 number in terms of 3-point shots on the season is Anthony Del Orso. Wildcats and Utah Utes coming up for you straight ahead. Let's find out what we think the Wildcats need to do to win this game tonight.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealer that is different.
All right, keys to the game. We'll start this round of keys to the game with J.W. Madden.
I think it's pretty simple. I think you just need to maintain the level of focus they've had over the course of the past 10, 15 games. Don't look ahead to Iowa State. Make sure that you don't take this Utah team lightly despite their record and the fact that they just fired their coach. Lock down on D. That was a big issue versus the BYU Cougars. I'd like to see them hold Utes to somewhere under 43, 44% from the field and less than 15 assists. That's a team that passes the ball around a lot. As you mentioned, DK, one of the leading assist teams in the country. Get in those passing lanes, make it difficult on ball defenders, keep those numbers lower than what they average. And you got to dominate the boards. This is the 3rd longest, tallest team in the country. They really are a team that's going to use that length. Not a lot of great athletes, but as far as what they're trying to do, you cannot let them abuse you on the boards. And Arizona comes in with the reputation of being a great rebounding team. Show that. So I'd like to see them win the boards at least by 5, potentially 10. And 3, you just have to play this team like it's a top team in the league. I mean, that's the biggest issue with games like this. They lost their coach this week. They've struggled at times this year. Don't play the Utah Utes as if they are the 9th, 10th best team in the conference. You got to play this team moving forward. Every single game has to be approached as if it's a one-and-done scenario, because that's where we're getting into that time of year. The focus has to be there. You have to make sure that you come out and play this game. I'd like to see them get out to an early lead, DK, maintain that lead, stretch it out, and put the Utes away pretty early. Show that they're the more dominant team. Those are my keys tonight versus the Utes.
All right, that's J.W. Madden right there. I think, again, we mentioned kind of how they are. They are one of the best assisting teams in the country, number one in the Big 12. Last 4 games, they're sitting at around 16 per game. I'd like to see maybe that number be under 12 in this game. Keep, like J-Dub said, stay in the passing lanes, keep those numbers down. And I think this is a team, frankly, that you can dominate inside. And when I say inside, I want you to get inside and get to the foul line, put them into foul trouble. They have a tendency to give up a bunch of offensive rebounds. So get to that, although they're pretty good at it as well. That's one of the other things. I think you need to control them off. I think a couple games ago in that Kansas game, they had 16 offensive boards, and I think they followed that up with 20-plus in the game against Kansas State. So keep them off the offensive boards while at the same time dominating that offensive glass on your end. The Wildcats are the stronger team, I think, inside, and should be able to do that tonight for an opportunity to win this game. So keep those, keep their assist numbers down, dominate them inside using your strength. Kelvin, what do you think the Wildcats need to do to win tonight?
Defend the three-point line. I think BYU showed a way that you can beat Arizona by launching a lot of threes and hoping some go in. So you don't want Utah to get confident and think that they can do the same. So lock in and make sure that you defend the three-point line, force these guys to be two-point shooters. With that being said, don't foul them. Don't bail these guys out with fouls and give them free throws. They're not a team that can manufacture free throws, really, because they're not a real beat you off the dribble type of team. So play great defense without fouling. And as you guys both said, rebounding. You have to get the rebound. I think rebound is going to be huge in this game. You're playing a team that has so much length. I think one of the things they try to do is throw it up and go get it. We have to put a body on everybody to get those rebounds. And I think offensively, we have to be aggressive attacking the basket. I think that rebound putbacks would be a great opportunity for our bigs to be able to score, because their bigs do like to come off and try to challenge shots.
Yeah, and this is a team, just going back to the free throws again, I mean, this is a team that also can get to the line. So you have to be wary of that, I think, in this game tonight if you're the Arizona
The good
Wildcats.
news is they only shoot 63% as a team.
Right. That is good news, indeed. 63%. Wildcats on the other end of that are one of the best free throw shooting teams, if not the best free throw shooting team in the conference. At what are they now? What are we up to? About 77%, I think, on the season. I'll get that number for you here right ahead. That is what we think the Wildcats need to do to win the game tonight.
Wildcat fans, those are our keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
78% your Arizona Wildcats are shooting right now from the free throw line. That is the third best mark in program history, and right now it is second in the Big 12, behind Central Florida, who is just a tick higher. If you're breaking it down, Wildcats are 77.5, Central Florida is 77.7, and Arizona with that 77.5, that's 22nd best in the country. So looking forward to the Wildcats having a chance to build on that tonight. All right, Arizona and Utah, guys, final thoughts.
Yeah, just kind of underestimated, man. I mean, coming off coach getting fired, guys try to rally around and try to, finish the season, out good to, try to prove some things that, maybe their coach shouldn't have been fired. I just think the guys need to lock in and understand that each one of these games all count the same.
Yeah, same. I just think, as I said in my keys, we're coming down to the time of year where you need to take every possession as seriously as possible. There's no more lollygagging out there, guys. I mean, it's that time of year. You've been saying how we're close to March, DK, all week long. It's right around the corner. One and done is here, and you need to approach it because the memories you're going to make, Kelvin, in these next month and a half will last you a lifetime. You want to make sure that you look back that you brought everything, that you were focused, that you had the coach's game plan in mind every step of the way, and that you're connected as teammates. So use these last few games in conference regular season. The dream of winning the conference might be out the window. Houston's about to lock that up. It doesn't mean that your real goals aren't still ahead of you. Make sure that you're focused. Make sure that you're playing together as a team and have fun out there. Because, and bear down. Because, gotta always bear down. And also, students, do not do that anymore. That's it.
Do not do that anymore.
No more of that.
No more. Yes, no more. The Zona Zoo came out and said they have plans in place. I don't know what those plans are. We'll reach out and see maybe if we can get somebody on the local show coming up later in the week to kind of find out how they are planning to address what they happen. And just to kind of end on that, I think for me, it goes back to you have to continually be educating. We think about, because we mentioned it happened a few years ago when UCLA was here. Well, that was a whole different set of kids. Okay, so now are you constantly educating every single year that when these kids come in, hey, this is who we are, this is what we're about, this is how we conduct ourselves, this is what we're not going to tolerate. You have to do that every single year because you got new kids coming in every single year. So continual education, I think, is if whatever they're planning to do moving forward, continual education on what's appropriate and what's not appropriate coming from the best student section in like we like to say in the Big 12 needs to be laid out every single year for every single class. It's no different than coaching. You got to recoach them every year. Let's give you your starting lineups.
The foundation of a great basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature.
All right, 3 guards, Jaden Bradley, 6'3", out of Rochester, New York, averaging 12 points per ball game. Caleb Love, leading scorer, 6'4", out of St. Louis. He scores at 16 points a game clip. Anthony Del Orso, 6'6", out of Melbourne, Australia, averaging 8 points a game. Henry Vasar, third start, 7-foot forward out of Talan, Estonia, averaging 9 points and 5 rebounds. Toby Awaka at the other forward, 6'8", out of New York's Hyde Park, 8 points, 8 rebounds. That's going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to J-Dub. Thanks to Kelvin. Most of all, thanks to you for listening. Coming up next, number 22, Arizona and Utah. We'll talk to you after the game. Bear down, Arizona.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commission sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
We do with press conferences, coaches shows, and play-by-play.
Bounce pass, a walk, a slam it home.
We bring you all the stories, highlights, and analysis of your Arizona Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the